Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 1, Text number 40. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So here the Arjuna is giving the sequence what will happen if there's no elders in the family member. So here after killing in the battlefield, if the elders are died, so then there's no family tradition will be observed, and when the family tradition is not observed, then there will be irreligion. When irreligion, then there's one those souls who in a woman body they have a very important function in the development of peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress of the particular family or particular nation. So they become corrupted, and then consequence degradation, and then unwanted progeny. So here in the purport, I will read. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The first thing that we must understand here is the principle of that we are not this body, we are spiritual, spirit, soul. So we have to identify ourselves as spirit, soul. But according to our karma, our desire, our effect of previous lives, we have taken this particular type of body. So then this body is not us. This body is not I. I'm a spirit soul. So I have been in this different type of body, cats, dogs, woman, man, Satriya, Brahmana. So we have been changing different bodies according to our desires. So here good population. So the whole idea of a spiritual progress in life, the whole idea of human life is that to progress in the spiritual life. The human body means to progress in spiritual life. So the body is basically giving the facility to go back to the spiritual world. So while practicing this spiritual life, then we need these two both things, peace and prosperity. So the whole idea is peace, that the mind should not be agitated while practicing religious principle. And the prosperity means we have sufficient resources for our maintenance and also for our comfort. So these are basic principle for good population. The Varnashram religion principle was so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. So not everyone are same. Everyone are different. The man to man they are different. The woman to woman they are different. Everyone are different. So for different people, different way of life rules are applied. So here in this, under the Varnashram, there's eight type of category. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Those who are in the spiritual practice, who do not, who do not interested in any material comfort, any material opulence, nothing at all. They are called Brahmana. So of course, it is very difficult to find nowadays. If you take the simply a temple priest, his occupation may be a Brahmana occupation, but the principle of Brahmana would not be there the moment one receives salary. So, for example, Chanakya Pandit was offered a big palace because he was the advisor for the king. But Chanakya Pandit refused, and then he stayed in his small cottage. So Brahmana is not interested at all in material opulence, material comfort. Even food wise, they will only eat if they get the food for that day. They don't accumulate anything. Otherwise, they will continue fast. So that is Brahmana. That's how the way of life Brahmana goes. And then Satriya, then he has the way of life. He need to fight. He need to protect. And then goes Vaishya. Vaishya also has his particular way of life. His main thing, he'll be protecting the animals, while Kshatriya protecting the kingdom and the religion principles, and Vaishya does the other way and protecting basically mainly the cow protection. And also he produce so mercantile community, and Sudra who actually assist this particular for three varnas. So we must understand here this varnashram is not exploitive way or designed here. The varnashram is basically is for caring and protection. So, like for example, if you see that then Satriya is protecting the population and the kingdom, and then Kshatriya also protecting the Brahmanas, where Brahmanas is protecting the religious principle. So it goes, everyone protect each other. So it is not exploitative matter. What came now in the caste system is exploitative matter because it is the mentality of the human being to exploit for their own sense gratification gain. So there is totally contaminated the way of life is totally disturbed, contaminated or system or whatever people practice doesn't matter it is a caste system or whatever system. So whole human being here is everyone is seeing another human as the object of sense gratification or anything as a object of sense gratification. So everyone wants to exploit everyone for their own benefit of their senses. So Varnashram system is not like that. Varnashram system is designed such a way that everyone is protected, everyone is cared because different people have different level of mentality. So now even Kshatriya is protected. Who's protecting Kshatriya is that the Brahmanas is protecting the Kshatriya. How they are protecting the Kshatriya? They are monitoring and guiding the Kshatriya. What to do, what not to do. Is this based on religion? Is it based not on religion? So if you see the administrative class of people nowadays, they are not protected. So then comes the another next step. If they are not protected, the abuse of power. Whereas in the Varnashram system, the Kshatriya is protected where if there's abuse of power, then the Brahmana will be there to stop them. Even there's a pastime where even they cursed the king until the king died, and then they appointed another king. The Brahmana didn't become the king, but they appointed a qualified person. So these are the system. Varnashram system means totally protective, totally caring for the spiritual progress. This is Varnashram system, which is not practiced nowadays. So, yeah, the earlier I've mentioned the four. The next four is Varna, which is sorry, the next four is ashram. Ashram basically brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So it's a married life or the way how do they deal with the opulence, the way how they deal with the comfort. So, for example, if the sannyas means then they renounce everything, they do not want comfort, they only want others as sannyas who want to spiritual progress, sannyas who give the Bhagavad Dharma or Krishna consciousness. So these are even women will be there, although they are married. So if they are in that particular category, they are renounced. They not necessarily change the cloth into the saffron, but they take the principle of renunciation. So these four ashram are there applicable for the woman and men, and then there's four varnas. All the men and women categorized into this particular varna. All right, I'll continue. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of the womanhood. Children are very prone to mislead, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious principles, women will not be misled into adultery. So we have a big problem here in the age of Kali Yuga that is called illicit sex. What is illicit sex? The the average level or the medium level of illicit sex is uh, sexual um, sexual union between the man and woman who is not husband and wife. So, of course, if you go to the more subtle, the man should not meditate on other woman, or the woman should not meditate on other men. So, now here, if the protection is not there, protection based on Arjuna's argument here, on particularly women, because woman has but a very important role to play in development of family or nation. So it is not that man, like when they say, every man's success, there's a woman behind. Yeah, that is the truth because woman has a particular important role to play. So now what happen if there's no protection, this particular varnashram system, this each particular type of people protects and chastise or correct each other particular. So everyone is interdependent. So here what will happen if it is everyone is free, then there can be illicit sex. The husband does not do his duty, his dharma. The wife does not. So all this can lead into adultery, and adultery is considered illicit sex, which is breaking the principle of Sanatan Dharma. So that we can see it's happening nowadays for those who are not following the Dharma. So here we have to be aware that this particular population, womanhood, has to be chastised and faithful toward the husband. So that doesn't mean the husband has to be he is free to do anything. So the man on the side of man, then that man has to be very sincere to the wife, and also he has to be very responsible as well. So it is not that human form of life is free, and then the human form of life is very responsible uh, form of life. We are not cat and dogs can do whatever we like. We have to have restriction. We have to. The problem is that we are not restricted because we want happiness, but the problem is that we are seeking happiness in a wrong way. So while we seek the happiness in a wrong way, then it disturbs the whole progress, spiritual progress in spiritual life. So next, according to Chanakya Pandit. So Chanakya Pandit is exemplary Brahmana in bygone ages, and he was, as I said earlier, like for example, he didn't take any material opulence, he didn't take any payment. So the Brahmana, he is because he is the advisor for the king. And now, according to him, he said, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family tradition of the religion activity should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give good to birth to good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. So here Chanakya Pandit have stated his statement, and then Prabhupada quoted here when Arjuna is giving his reason, the consequence of when one do not observe the religious principle, the dharma. So Chanakya Pandit, he has a general statement that particularly women are not very intelligent and not trustworthy. So here, of course, definitely those who are in the woman body, they may get insulted, or some men also can be get insulted because it looks like it's not, but it looks like they are put down. So actually not. So it is actually a protective statement here. So we will explore in detail on these things all to clear up this matter. So when it's mentioned here is that generally, so it's not specifically all will be like that, all will be less intelligent. So it is generally the women are not intelligent. See, first we have to look into what is intelligent. So here, intelligent referring to the point number two. Point number two, logical, emotional, and spiritual intelligence. So in later part in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Indrani prani ahori indriya paramana manasastu parabuddhe yo buddhe parastastu sa. So he's telling that there's a sequence that intelligence is higher than the mind, and the mind is higher than senses. The mind is higher than the senses. Senses is higher than the dull matter. Mind higher than senses, and then intelligence is higher than the mind, and then the soul is higher than intelligence. So this intelligence has that particular function. What is that function? The intelligence has the function of discrimination. So intelligence can work beyond mind and also can operate under the instruction of the mind. When intelligence is not guided or not nourished by sastra or spiritual subject, then the intelligence will be working or operating under the mind, because the mind will generally hear the mind at the for general who do not practice spiritual, the mind will go for sense gratification. So this intelligence will be more operative for the mind to get whatever their sense gratification. So then intelligence should be fed with spiritual intelligence or spiritual knowledge, where the spiritual intelligence, one able to discriminate what is good, what is bad here. So on the second point, I will continue elaborate. Here, there's a different type of intelligence on material platform. So one is called, for us to understand, logical intelligence. One is called emotional intelligence. So those who are in men body, they are more towards logical intelligence. So because they are productive class people, and those who are in woman body, they are more on emotional intelligent, because they has to provide this caring function. One is production, one is caring. A family need these two, production and caring. And higher than that is spiritual intelligence. So when we speak, when production, protection, intelligent, then the emotional intelligence definitely will not be very high. When you speak about those who are having the emotional intelligence, definitely they are protective, and that production intelligence will not be very high. But in such, there is some exception also. But here generally we can see in there where the man body, we will be in mood of protective and mood of production, and the woman body it will be more on development, caring on that side. So here, when, see, for example, in the past time where uh, Draupadi will forgive Ashwatthama. So, but then the other members of the Pandava would want to kill Ashwatthama. This happens when Ashwatthama wanted to kill the five Pandavas, but he will kill their children. So Draupadi will use her emotional intelligence, and then she will forgive Ashwatthama. So this is one example. So here emotional intelligence are required in the family, so the children or the family members are cared and are protected emotionally. So woman has this particular important role uh, to do. So the family members are not disturbed. Their spiritual life progress is not disturbed. So, but one effect or disadvantage of this emotional intelligence is that it can be manipulated, it can be misled. So that's why the logical intelligence has to be there. So these functions are carried out properly. So, for example, even a child development. So there's a protective, and then there's emotional. So here, the on the side from the father will encourage the braveness to the child, but on the side of mother, she will consider the risk factor that the child will be taking, or the emotional effect the child be, well taking in order to be brave. This is just one example how the function are carried out. So you must understand the functions are there, and there's also disadvantage of these functions are there, or not disadvantage. It is more on like that. It can be misuse, misled. So those who are men can misuse, and those who women can misuse. The children can misuse, misled. So either way. So we have to understand. So here, because of uh, this particular effect of emotional intelligence, so they can be manipulated, so they are not given that particular responsibility on the platform of logical intelligence. So these are the things. So I'll continue. uh, all right. The next point that I will cover, the second point. The next point is that women need protection, is that because there are also irresponsible men outside there who wants always abusive or exploitive nature. So men of a Jekyll-like nature. So women, of course, women may say that, oh, we can protect. Yes, of course, the woman can protect. That is not. But the disadvantage of their bodily function is that they can be manipulated. So there must be here men bodied, who's particularly the husband, the son or father, has to protect the woman bodied soul. And then this protection system is not only for women. It's not that only women has to be protected. So here the Brahmanas has to be protected. The Satriya will be protecting the Brahmana, and the Satriya has to be protected. The Brahmanas will protect the Satriyas. The Vaishyas has to be protected. The Sudras has to be protected. The woman who in these different classes also has to be protected. Children has to be protected, and most important, very important, cows need to be protected. Not only cows, all other animals should be protected. So here, if or everyone is not protected, of course, ultimately Krishna is a protector. If everyone is not protected, then the system of Varnashram will be broken. will be not functioning. So everyone will not carry on the function. It's simply like a cooking. If you're going to cook, if you're going to produce a certain dishes, food. So everyone has that particular. One person clean the thing, one person wash, one person cut that vegetable, one person prepare the different spices. So everyone then at the end the cook will be cooking, and then eventually will get a nice dish, a nice prasad. So everyone has this function that so there's a good population here. If this varnashram system is disturbed or not followed, then there's a chance of all of this category of people will be misled, or and then the effect is that there's no good population. So particularly here this explanation here, because particularly Arjuna is pinpointing on the womanhood, because the womanhood carries an important function. So on the third point here, trust and emotional manipulation. Individual may use the faculty of the emotional intelligence to manipulation, take advantage in the context of the word trustworthy use. So the earlier the trustworthy, it is not general trustworthy here is basically because the effect of or disadvantage or when where the emotional intelligence can be manipulated by the, as I said, the Jekyll man kind of man. So unlike here, women in Krishna conscious, they are very intelligent. So because why they are very intelligent? Because the intelligence is fed with the scriptures, the knowledge of scriptures. So they would able to know, identify what is need to be done, what is not need to be done. So Srila Prabhupada has initiated the woman, given the mantras, and even Srila Prabhupada has given very responsible and respected service uh, for them. So Prabhupada engaged both men and women in what they call inequality in the service. Prabhupada treated both of them in equal. He didn't identify. But the only thing is that Prabhupada was very protective. He knows who need and what protection is needed. So protection here means it's not only physical protection. Protection here means emotional protection. Protection here means also spiritual protection. The fifth point is that spiritual identity of Vaishnavis. A Vaishnavi is not identified merely as a woman but as a servant of Krishna. So we have to see that everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna. We cannot carry the mentality of exploitative nature. I want to use this person for my sense gratification. I want to use that object. This uh, will lead into man and whoever woman to be a Jekyll minded. So this is not how the human form will operate. So we identify everyone uh, as a servant of Krishna, part and parcel on Krishna. So Chanakya Pandit has given a general statement over here for that statement that woman is not very intelligent here, and this is not will not be applicable for spiritual progress, because for spiritual progress, chanting the name of Krishna, reading the scriptures, practicing that application will be applied. Next, in our society, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, or generally the Vedic civilization, we do not see anyone. The men will or woman will see, uh, particularly man, except his wife, he will see every other woman as mother, so not as an object of sense gratification. So this is how we all address either younger woman or Vaishnavis or higher elderly mother as Matajis, so as mother. So I like to read also here. This is a lecture So senses are so strong, Balavan Indriya Grama. It is prohibited what to speak of others. Therefore, the common moral teaching of the Vedic civilization is to accept any woman except his own wife as mother. Mat, Matvat Paradarveshu, Paradarveshu, everyone supposed to be married. Dara means wife, Paradarveshu, other's wife. It doesn't matter if she's young or older, but she should be treated as mother. Therefore, it is a system of Vedic culture as soon as one sees another woman, she addresses she or he addresses her mother, Mataji, immediately, mother. That makes the relationship. The woman treats the unknown man as son, and the unknown man treats the unknown woman as mother. This is Vedic civilization. So we should be very careful in our society. You all are God brothers, God sisters, or those who are married, they are like mothers. So you should be very careful. Then you will be remain dhira, sober. This is Brahmanical qualification, Brahmanical culture. Not that because I have got facility to intermingle with nice girl, so I shall take advantage and exploit them. Or this girl should take. No. Therefore, our restriction, no illicit sex. So this is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. So next, purport, I'll be reading here. On the failure of varnashram system, naturally women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men are also provoke adultery in the society, and those unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So there's a particular samskar which is known as a Garbhadan samskar. So this Garbhadan Samskar is a marriage after the marriage ceremony. So now if one do not perform this Garbhadan Samskar properly, then one will have unwanted children. So here in the purport, I will read out about the Garbhadan Samskar. Evening time is the time when the demon become very powerful. Therefore, at this time, one should not indulge in sex. The recommendation is that one should perform sex life only at a certain auspicious time. If one indulge in sex life at the improper time, as DT did, then the children will be demons. So here, sex here reference to Garbhadan Samskar, union to plant the seed, so the child birth will take place. So if these rules is not performed, then there's a bhutas who will take advantage to take birth in the human race, and then of course then there will be unwanted population. So here when one freely mix, then the family tradition is not followed. Who and what to do is not followed. Everyone is free. The woman involved in adultery, the man involved in adultery, the jackal kind man will be or irresponsible man. So what happened here is that when Arjuna is particularly giving this sequence, that he's addressing that particular section, and then the result will become unwanted progeny, because here uh, this particular section Arjuna is addressing, because this particular section of human who gives birth to children, and this particular section of the society who is actually nourished the children and bring good qualities to the children. So this particular important responsibility lies on the mother womanhood. So like in our in my tradition, basically, like those days, if the children is not having a proper behavior, so then the blame goes to the mother. So of course the blame definitely goes to the father also, who is supposed to be supervising. But basically, the first near person to the children, first person the children will listen to everything is mother. So mothers has a very important responsibility, not only for care and then protect the children, but or the family members. Even like the thing is that uh, when for example the food, when we talk about the food, when the mother or wife or daughter cooks the food will be with the love. So we will not find this kind of food outside in a commercially. So it is very important. Everyone being protected, so everyone carries on their own duty, and there's no degradation, and then there's no disturbance, and no one being exploited. So these are the general. These are the verse that Arjuna is. These are the point that Arjuna is pointing out. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.